episode starts in probably the best way I could conceive of a week like this week starting. I'm not sure that there is a better historical figure than Martin Luther King to start off a week that's this busy. I'm not sure there's been a busier week in history and civics. There certainly would have been in my teaching career. I wonder if there's been one in your teaching career, but this is a week. And to start us off, I wanted to take a moment and think about the legacy of Martin Luther King. A lot of us already have favorite quotes. I know that I used to hang them in the classroom. There's darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. That was a favorite when we talk about social relations, or the arc of the moral universe is long and bends towards justice. That's another one that when we talk about the history of America, or the history of difficult histories, thinking about the arc of justice was something that I would do in my classrooms a lot. But what I love about Martin Luther King, and what I love about the fact that he's starting off this week in civics, is that it's not only about those kind of positive, optimistic aphorisms that we use culturally, but he also had a lot to say about what our responsibilities were, what our activities should be. This wasn't a man who only wrote, he acted. And that's what I think, as we think about our role and what's been happening in society the past couple of weeks, in American society the past couple of weeks, the past couple of months, the past couple of years, thinking about King and his legacy. So in 1968, he gave a speech at the National Cathedral 4 days before his death, his untimely death by assassination. And in it, he said, "Somewhere we must come to see that human progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts and the persistent work of dedicated individuals who are willing to be co-workers with God. And without this hard work, time itself becomes an ally of the primitive forces of social stagnation. So we must help time and realize that the time is always ripe to do right." And that last phrase, "the time is always ripe to do right," I think is just the most important anchor for me for this week, because this week is big. We're starting with Martin Luther King Day. Tomorrow, the Senate reconvenes for the second inauguration of the same sitting president, which has never happened before. But it's a bit bizarre because the second impeachment of a sitting president, the second impeachment, which is bizarre, happening only 1 day before the inauguration of the new president. So the impeachment proceedings starting tomorrow aren't unprecedented in that there is precedent for having what's called a late impeachment, which is an impeachment that happens after an official leaves office. But it's still bizarre in that it is 1 day before the inauguration, and then 2/3 of the Senate has to vote, of the Senate that's present. And so who's going to be present? How are they going to get that job done? With the new presidency comes a lot of other work for the Senate, such as confirming the new cabinet. And so that's a lot going on. And then Wednesday is the inauguration, which is turning out to be a star-studded affair, but without an audience. And so where does that leave us? Where's the energy that usually comes with a new presidency, a new start, in the middle of a pandemic, with a lot of other crises taking our time? How do we help our students through that? We at BRI, we're thinking a lot about the presidents and constitutions. We've been doing that for a long time with our Presidents and the Constitution resource. We're also publishing 2 new videos on this channel, so make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, and you'll see those new videos that come out with Stephen F. Knott talking about the history of constitutions and presidency, also including populist presidents, so make sure you check out that. But I was thinking the way that I would kind of talk to my students about this is looking at the idea of social trust, right? So social trust is how we think about our property, contracts, politics, but most importantly, how we think about the behavior of others. America relies on a lot of informal cooperation. The idea that we trust one another, that certain things will happen when we go out of our house or when we go to the polls or when we pay money at a store. And a lot of that is very different than it was 2 years ago, 1 year ago. We're coming up on 1 year of the pandemic disrupting our lives, changing the way that we behave and interact with one another. And so I'm wondering about the nature of trust and the relationship of trust. And I encourage you to talk about that with your students, because this idea of social trust or the trust society can be a really nice framework to help them think through some of the issues that we're going through. There's a great article on Stanford Social Innovation Review called 6 Ways to Repair Declining Social Trust. And so these six paths, these 6 ways to repair sound a lot like things history and civics teachers do all the time. And I think that's always fun to tie the work we do to the outside world or to outside innovators. So making sure that institutions are effective and deliver real benefits, developing future leaders who work for the greater good, strengthening accountability and transparency, engaging citizens in solving community and societal challenges, strengthening social inclusion, establishing real commitment for change in the future are all ways that we can work on how we trust one another and making sure that we continue to trust one another to support this democratic society, which we love and want to see flourish. And so I want to encourage you to go out and be your amazing selves with your students. It's a lot this week. And so I know that you're going to be dealing with questions all day long, all week long, whether it's Martin Luther King Day, the pandemic, the role of the impeachment, the new inauguration. I can't imagine people doing more work in teaching right now. So thank you for all you're doing. If you ever have questions, please reach out to us. We want this show and these episodes to really serve you for the week ahead. So this is This Week in Civics. It's a big week. I give you all my energy and all my love, and I hope to see you soon.